Oi oi, hello and welcome to another GG.CO.UK trends video. This week sees the start of the Newmarket July Festival, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. There's some cracking action there. And this particular trends video focuses on one of the big races for Saturday, the July Cup, a Group 1 over 6 furlongs, a race that has seen loads of good names win this. It's seen loads of good names get beat too. So with these trends pieces, I look at all different elements. We look at age, we look at course form, distance form, official ratings, when they last ran, etc. And I will whittle down some top line trends. If you're interested in the entire article though, where I do go into a bit more detail, there is a link in the description for that. The cheat sheet is in there and you can see the details of those sort of levels that I look at, the ages, the track form, the official ratings, etc, etc. Now I want to say a big thank you to everyone's support on this channel, just full stop. People that view this, I really appreciate it. The liking of the videos is really nice. Subscribing is obviously massive, but over 2/3 of you are not subscribed to the GG channel. So look, if you've got a YouTube account and you can subscribe and you want to subscribe, please do so. And there's also details below about if you'd like to be a channel member. A good few of you are doing that now, which we really appreciate the support for. Now that said, let's crack on and look at the July Cup trends, because there's been a bit of a change this morning with the fact that Notable Speech has been supplemented for the race. He now leads the market as a general 7-2 shot in there. A horse that's never run at 6 furlongs. In fact, he's only ever run at a mile. Now, there's been a few horses in the past that have dropped back in trip. Pretty much every winner of this race has won somewhere between 6 furlongs and a mile as their furthest trip. So I will detail some information about 6 furlong distance wins in the article. We'll talk about that in the top line trends. But is it going to be a major factor for Notable Speech potentially getting beaten here? And is he a favourite worth taking on? Well, let's have a look at the trends and see if that's the case. Now, the key trends are 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds are the ones you want to focus on. They've provided 15 of the last 16 winners. Now, with that said, 4-year-olds are profitable to back blind both this century and in the last decade. 3-year-olds are pretty expensive to follow. So it's not going to completely whittle down the field to help you make money just off the back of that trend, but the winner's likely to be a 3 or a 4-year-old. Preference would go to horses who are drawn in the highest 3 stalls. 6 of the last 9 winners have come from that factor. That includes non-runners in there too, in terms of where the draws would be stored. The stalls would be drawn in terms of the highest 3, which is an interesting one as well, because 6 of the last 10 have been that, but only 7 winners this century have. And I say only, it's because 6 of those have come in the last decade. Now, there's been no winners in the last decade from the bottom 3 stalls. This century, there have been 4. But what's curious is the fact that no horse that's been drawn in the absolute lowest stall has won the July Cup this century. I haven't gone further back to see when that may have been the case, but the draw might not be the be-all and end-all in this race, but preference would definitely go to those drawn in the highest 3 stalls. Of course, with this being run on Saturday, we may have some clues from the first couple of days about how the track's riding, but the stats would suggest, or the trends at least would suggest, that preference would go to the highest 3 stalls. You want to look to the top 6 in the market. It might sound obvious, but it's a decent sized field race year in, year out. Favourites do perform to about expectations, so there might be some bigger price winners this race in the past, but really you want to be looking at those that are in the top 6 in the market, which has shown a profit to back blind in the last decade. I think it's about £16.50, that's detailed in the article. In this century, they are responsible for most winners, but they show a small loss of 75p, which is pretty much negligible, isn't it, if you're having a go over the last 25 years. There's been no top-rated winner of this race since 2016. So if you're glass half full, maybe we're due one. If you're glass half empty, maybe that's a turn in trend where top-rated runners are not the ones to follow in here. This century though, if you had backed every top rated runner, you would be showing a 21% return on investment. With the fact that we haven't had any winners since 2016, we have had 2 winners, 2015 and 16 in the last 10 trends, but they would be expensive to follow since. So again, it depends which way you want to interpret that particular stat. They probably ran at Ascot last time out, but you do want to also respect runners who have been saved for this race from York. There's been 8 runners that have come from York to this particular race. 2 of those have won. In the last decade, there's been 6 and 1 of those has won. You'd lose about 50p, I think, if you backed those in the last decade. But this century it is showing a profit. It will show a profit until we've got an abundance more runners. But it's one of those that most runners would have come from Ascot. That will be seen in the number of days that they last ran. and obviously with the track being Ascot, but it's expensive to follow. I tried to manipulate the trends to find a way to look at Royal Ascot runners that come here that would be profitable to back. You'd have to narrow it down very niche, and that skews the figures because I'm just trying to find the big price winners in there. So while they probably have come from Royal Ascot, that alone is not going to help you find the winner of the race. Could be potentially a bit of a red herring to look at that as a positive, would be my view on things. They should have 4 or more runs at 6 furlongs though. And another piece I talk about within there is you want their win strike rate to be better, or at least equal at 6 furlongs as it is for trips away from that. So if you've got a horse that's run 5 times at 6 furlongs and won 4 times, if they've run 5 times away from it being 6 furlongs, they would have won 4 at the most, if not 3 or fewer races. So you want their best strike rate essentially to be at 6 furlongs. Any Newmarket winning form is a bonus. I know this is the July Festival and the Rolling Mile is a very different track. However, lots of horses have come from running at Newmarket, whichever track it is, and the horses that have run and won at Newmarket have a pretty good record in this race, regardless of whether it's the July course or the Rolling Mile course that they've run on. So that's the headline trends for the July Cut. As I say, there'll be a link in the description for the full article where you can go and find a bit more details. I'll remind you again, if you're not subscribed to the GG channel, please make sure you do so if you want to, and you can do. And again, I really appreciate all our members' support for this channel. It helps to create some of this content. It helps us to be able to elevate this channel up if we can do so. And look, we're getting through the we're getting through the flat season, so we're getting on to the jump season soon, but there's so much more to look forward to. Goodwood Festival's coming up at the end of this month. I cannot wait for that. There's going to be some real trendy videos coming up about Goodwood stuff. I'm getting on with the daily cheat sheets this week, so hopefully I think for Sunday or Monday, the next trends video will be Goodwood focused. We can really steer a focus into finding some winners there. But again, thank you all for your support. Thank you for watching these videos, liking it, your comments. It is all appreciated. We will see you on Thursday for the weekend watch and beyond.